Okay, for my assignment one, I've decided to go with two different extremes, which is one environment which was blasted with a nuclear explosion, and a lovely sunset, which is nice and warm and fuzzy, but has a sort of grungy undertone. And for my lovely reference art, I chose this. I rather liked it. I just thought it was kind of different, and um, I thought it was a bit challenging with all the cutouts and the curves. Um, I personally didn't do all the curves. I thought if I was to do it, um, I would do it in Maya. But I did do the every mostly all the assets, including the car and the lights and the chairs and yeah, um, and the palm trees, which I thought were pretty good. So uh, yeah, I had a really good shot at it and trying to replicate it. I didn't so much get my references from movies or songs or media of such. I actually got it from an event that has taken place, which was in Rio in Brazil. Um, uh, the Olympics and the aftermath. I remember reading the news and how it had affected Brazil, and how a lot of things like like there was a lot of trash and there was a lot of things going on there, like a lot of violence and a lot of just a lot of con- concerning things going along because of the Olympics and like over budgeting and everything and yeah, and so I got inspired by that, I guess. And so my sort of mood and feeling was dusk and sunset, and the Olympic aftermath. Once was beautiful place, now destroyed by overpopulation. So we'll just move that around. Um, so my lighting inspiration um, for this scene was minimalistic, like just a glow. And as you can see, I have fixed most of the lights and the shadows of the palm trees. There's no red crosses. But I know why there was red crosses, because I had them on stationary and they needed to be on static. But yeah, and the colours, I just wanted it to have that orange glow and and just use the shadowing to give it a nice environment and use the lights. So the story goes that it's a dirty city in South America, and it's after the Olympic Games, and it's overpopulated and bankrupted by the country, and it sort of sounds familiar, probably from a lot of other places that the Olympics has happened. The kids are selling jewelry and trinkets on the streets, and the adults have to go far to get work, and um, they have to go maybe to the surrounding cities and towns. The outline of how I intend to implement this is the narrative is through the modern shapes and in the building, like the model of the car, because that's sort of futuristic, and maybe in um, the modeling of the palm trees. That sort of gives it that beachy Rio look, and and tropical destination with the warm, grungy textures of the clouds that make it give it that sort of grunge, and the haze, and I give the my buildings a bit more curve to give it that futuristic. This is my nuclear aftermath, and I intended on making a sort of sick feeling and conflicting feeling and a sense of uncomfortableness in the aftermath of like a nuclear explosion. My lighting inspiration um, is for the scene of lights is like the use of, the light they use for is the blue lights that they use in nightclubs and restaurants to keep junkies from shooting up, and they are meant to deter drug addicts. Um, it is the aftermath of a nuclear event, and that's what it's meant to be, and it's meant to have people that have survived and have to make do with uh, what's left, the poison in the ground and the poison in the sea. And yeah, I would say it's about 2050, and in South America. I intend to implement my narrative through the colours in the environment and through use of textures and grit, um, and experimentation with more lighting and develop deeper what makes people uncomfortable with colour. These are my green explosion reference images that I've collected. I like the green ambient explosion. I like from that question of where did you get that shadow from. It really made me think, and I thought, where did I get that palm tree shadow from? And then that just blew my mind because I thought, what about nuclear shadows and all those random shadows? And yeah, no. And that gave me a really great idea for the nuclear scene. So your question really gave me a really good idea. And yes, and this is the reference for the blue lighting that they use in bathrooms all over the world to deter drug addicts, to make you feel uncomfortable, and yes. And what I would like to do, I would like to do modeling. I should learn more about texturing and UV mapping. Is not my favorite thing to do. I don't mind lighting. I'm willing to do anything and work hard. So